Today is all about the shoulders, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip, which it seems like a really small thing, but it will make a big difference to your shoulders. So the shoulders are an area that there tends to be a lot of discomfort naturally because we're very forward facing, so we tend to have quite poor posture in the upper part of our body, and it can be an area that is very prone to injury in yoga. Now, a lot of the reasons for that is because of the misconception of what you need to do when you reach your arms up and over your head. So let's just talk about the shoulders first, because then that makes it a little bit easier to understand what's happening with the movement of the shoulder. So the shoulder, well, the rotator cuff, is made up of 4 muscles and a series of tendons. I won't give you their names because I can't pronounce them, they're far too long. But basically, the purpose of the rotator cuff is to connect the top part of your arm to the actual socket. So super important. When we reach the arm up, these muscles and tendons are working together so that we can reach the arm overhead and bring the arm into a really sturdy, strong position. So there's a really misconception that when we reach the arm up and overhead, we need to really do a weird movement and pull that shoulder down. But in order to stabilize that shoulder, we actually need to reach the arm up, almost get that wrapping sensation of the arm in order to support it back into the socket. And there used to be a really old cue in yoga back when I started years and years ago of reach the arm up, pull the shoulder away from the ear. What you're doing here is you're playing with the anatomy and you're basically getting those muscles to do something that it really doesn't want to do, it shouldn't be doing, and you're destabilizing your shoulder. Another thing that I see when we come up, so we've got that weird one of where we're reaching up but pulling down, which just feels nasty. Give it a go now and you'll see that it just feels icky. Another thing that I see is when I say to people reach their arms up, they almost lose their neck. They're reaching up so far that then what you're actually doing is you're causing discomfort in those muscles because you've just literally pulled everything up towards your ears and you're putting impingement on the shoulder joint but also pressure on the nerve. So looking at it from behind, when we reach up, and I'm really reaching up but making sure that I'm not crunching up towards my ears, you might be able to see that there's a little bit of an inward rotation in my arm. So what that's doing, that's really wrapping around the side of my shoulders, hugging those shoulders in, engaging the scapular muscles. So next time you're in class and you hear the cues, reach those shoulders up, and really exaggerate that. What I want you to think about is opening from the hip up to the armpit, wrapping that arm in, reaching up as nice and high as you possibly can without crunching the ear to the shoulder. Now I know that's really difficult. Like sometimes in these poses when you're trying to breathe, you're moving from one to the other. It feels like there's a lot to remember, but I promise you this tiny movement of learning to wrap and hug the shoulders up, what that does is it engages those muscles, it makes your shoulders super strong, and hopefully will stop any discomfort or any injuries in your yoga practice.